Welcome to Module 3 of the LPS Educator Academy. In this module, we will focus on instructional best practice with simple, free, and accessible online tools. At the end of spring 2020 of our emergency distance learning experience, LPS surveyed our educators and families. Feedback from these surveys indicated a need for more rigorous and engaging instruction if we went back to distance learning during the 2021 school year. To respond to this need, this module will blend technology tools with research-based effective practices for designing engaging instruction that uses higher order thinking skills.
The technology tools we will demonstrate in this module are Jamboard and Flipgrid. These tools can be used in-person, hybrid blended, or distance learning. The research-based best practice we will use is the Cognitive Rigor Matrix. This matrix is one common approach to creating engaging instruction. We encourage you to remember your support system, your PLC team, your digital mentors, or the educators in your building with strengths using online collaborative tools with students, your instructional coaches, and the LPS Innovation, Equity, and Learning team. Let's get started with Jamboard.
Jamboard is a live collaborative whiteboard that allows participants to share their thinking in real time. Students can use stickies, pens, and add additional pages. Note that Jamboard can have 16 touches or 16 people that can edit the Jamboard at once. In addition, up to 24 students can get on one Jamboard. So we suggest you create 2 Jamboards per class. Now let's create a Jamboard together. First, open Google Drive. Click New, choose More, and select Google Jamboard. This class is working on identifying the main idea of a reading passage about family traditions. I'm going to go ahead and name my Jamboard. Let's use a sticky to ask them, what is the main idea of the passage? I may also want to add an image next to it. Now my students can add their own sticky notes and images to answer the question. Now, according to Bloom's taxonomy, the question I just created is a remember level question, which is the lowest level of Bloom's cognitive learning classifications. The feedback from our emergency distance learning survey indicated a need for more rigorous and engaging instruction. This remember level question is low in cognitive rigor. One way to create more engaging instruction is to ask more rigorous questions using the Cognitive Rigor Matrix that Dr. Stembridge shared with our LPS leadership and instructional coaches last school year. Included in Module 3 is a link to a folder that has matrices that are aligned to LPS content areas. Please pause the video and locate the Cognitive Rigor Matrix with question stems in the Module 3 linked folder. Please refer to this matrix as we progress through this module. The matrix has 2 components, Bloom's taxonomy and depth of knowledge, or DOK. Depth of knowledge is another type of framework used to identify the level of rigor for an assessment. Notice as you move across the right side of the matrix, the depth of knowledge level increases. And as you move down the left side, the levels of Bloom's taxonomy move from lowest to highest. Therefore, the the highest rigor questioning can be found in the lower right corner. Let's see how we can use the matrix to develop our low rigor question, what is the main idea of the passage? Using the matrix, I will rewrite my question from what is the main idea of the passage to how do we know the main idea is families have different traditions. This new question elevated the cognitive thinking needed to answer. It empowers students to base their answer on their own understanding of facts in the passage and their knowledge of family traditions. We have moved our question from DOK Level 1 to DOK Level 3 and Bloom's Taxonomy Remember level all the way down to Evaluate. As I return to my Jamboard, I will replace my initial question with my more rigorous question. This question will move past identifying the main idea to empowering students to base their answer on their own understanding of facts in the passage and family traditions. Please pause the video and go to Google Drive to create a Jamboard. Use the cognitive rigor matrix to create a more engaging and rigorous question. Also, be prepared to share your question at the end of the module. Remember your resources. You have a Jamboard 101 help document, and in addition, you have a resource folder called Cognitive Rigor Matrix. This is a folder that has a link to multiple matrices of different LPS content areas. Welcome back. There are lots of fun and meaningful ways to use Jamboard in the classroom. Included in this module are ready-made templates that you can use. You will find the link in the Jamboard 101 help document. Opening routines are one way to incorporate Jamboard. Opening routines, or what some of us call do-nows, or just the first 5 minutes of class, can really set a welcoming and inclusive tone. They can be short and done in smaller whole group settings. Consider beginning every class with the same or even a different opening routine with Jamboard. The essential component is to establish a few minutes as a time to engage all student voices, build community, relationships, and purposefully transition into the academic day. Also consider SEL, or social emotional learning check-ins, debates, voting, solving a math problem. Students can even do an independent drag and drop experience in Jamboard. Ultimately, the list is long. Jamboard supports engagement during instruction. So, how do you use these templates? If you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see a link that says make a copy of this Jamboard. Simply click on it, and it'll prompt you to make a copy. The copy is now in your Google Drive and is ready to share with students via Google Classroom. These templates are ready for you to use, but feel free to create your own and share.
Another online tool that can highlight student voice and critical thinking is Flipgrid. Flipgrid is a simple, free, and accessible video discussion experience. Simply create a topic and share it with your students. Your students can join your grid with a code directly shared to Google Classroom. Students can then record and share short videos with or without showing their face. Now let's create our first Flipgrid question. For more information about how to set up your Flipgrid, please refer to the Flipgrid 101 document included in this module. First thing we're going to do is to create a group. Think about groups as classes or subject areas you teach. I'm going to call mine Language Arts 1. I can just leave the join code blank, and I can choose to let my students enter into this group through their Gmail account. Then click Next. We want to make sure that both of our domains, teacher.us and student@lpsk12.org, can both access the grid. Passwords are optional, so I'm going to skip that. Click Next. Once I do that, my grid will be created. This grid is ready to go and post to Classroom. I can simply click Share to Google Classroom and choose the class I want to post it in. Now it's time to add a topic. Think about topics as the questions you are asking your students. You can have many topics under one group. My first topic will be about the main idea from the Family Traditions passage we also used in the Jamboard example. So maybe my title is Family Traditions, and my prompt is the question I will ask. I might ask students to share an example of a family tradition mentioned in the passage. After this, I will choose my recording time. The longer the time, the longer you need to listen to what your students say. Next, I can add any media to help my students engage with this question. When I'm finished, click Create Topic. Now the topic is ready to go. I can push this topic to Google Classroom. Let's take a closer look at the question I just created in Flipgrid. My question was, share an example of a family tradition mentioned in the passage. I want students to engage cognitively with their classmates and me on Flipgrid. So I'm going to use the cognitive rigor matrix to identify where my question landed. My question landed at DOK level 2, understand. My question is low in cognitive rigor. So I'm going to use the matrix to help me create a question that integrates in a personalized connection with the text and provides an opportunity for students to have multiple perspectives. This will create a higher rigor learning environment for students while they use Flipgrid. So I'm going to move my question from "Can you give me an example?" to "Share how some of the family traditions in this passage might be different from the family traditions you have." This moves my question to DOK level 4. It's extending thinking and asking students to analyze. This new question elevated cognitive thinking by making a connection to the text and sharing those personal connections with classmates. Now I head back to Flipgrid and I need to edit my question. To do that, I'm inside of the Family Traditions topic. I'm going to click on Actions, Edit Topic, or I can just click the little pencil. Here I'm going to change my prompt to my new question. Share how some of the family traditions in the passage might be different from your family traditions. The recording time might have gone up so that students have enough time to answer this question. When I'm finished, I'm going to click Update Topic. Now your students can answer your question using one of the many options Flipgrid has available for answering. Students can go the traditional route and show their face. They can add stickers and even filters. Students can write or draw on a digital black or whiteboard. They can also draw on paper and then take a picture and post it. Students also have the ability to share their screen and much more. Flipgrid has tips for camera-shy students on their website. That link is available in this module.
Hi, this is Ann Kraus. I am a 9th grade language arts teacher at Arapahoe High School, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Flipgrid. So I use Flipgrid to engage my students in having a voice and choice in how they share their learning. Everything from having kids leave reading feedback, feedback on their writing to one another by posting what specifically they want feedback on with particular pieces of writing and letting them be seen and heard from their students, fellow students. The other way I used Flipgrid is giving kids voice and choice when they read. So they can respond to, in 1 week, I will post 3 different sections of chapters, and the kids can choose which chapters they want to respond to and how they want to respond to it. So for example, this particular one, there's two different options that they can respond to. They can use a specific image that they're looking at, or they can respond to a quote. But what I found is kids are much more engaged whether they want their camera on or not when we give them voice and choice.
Please pause the video. Go to Flipgrid.com and create a Flipgrid group. Use the Cognitive Rigor Matrix to create an engaging Flipgrid topic question. The matrix is linked as a resource in this module. Be prepared to share your question at the end of the module. Also, practice adding your Flipgrid to Google Classroom. If at any time you need help, refer to the Flipgrid 101 document in this module. Flipgrid is an excellent tool for teachers and students to use in order to build community and to develop listening and speaking skills. This video is to show some of the accessibility features available in Flipgrid and how teachers can use these in order to enhance the experience for students. One accessibility feature available in Flipgrid is closed captioning. By default, all new grids have closed captioning already turned on. Students can watch the video and can choose to turn off closed captioning by clicking on the closed caption icon. The language of the closed captioning can be adjusted in order to allow for comments in other languages. To do so, the teacher will go to Edit Topic and then scroll to Closed Captions, which are set to English by default. You can then choose to turn closed captioning off or change the language. Then scroll down and select Update Topic. Students will then be able to have closed captioning in the language that was selected. Again, this feature is only when the video is recorded in another language and that language is selected in closed captioning. It will not translate between languages. Another great accessibility feature in Flipgrid is Microsoft's Immersive Reader. Immersive Reader is built into Flipgrid to help young learners, students with dyslexia, and to translate text. Whether a learner is dyslexic, an early or struggling reader, an English learner, or simply needs a little assistance, Immersive Reader makes reading and understanding text easier. To use Immersive Reader, students will select the Settings icon and then click on Immersive Reader. Students can then play and have the text read aloud to them, highlighting the words as it's read. Under the Reading Preferences icon, students can change the line focus, and they can choose to have the text translated into another language. To do that, select your language from the drop-down menu. Select Translate Document. As with all translations, this auto-generated translation is never going to be as perfect as we'd like it to be, but it is an option for students who would benefit from reading text in their native language. Hopefully you got some ideas from this video on how you can use the accessibility features within Flipgrid to make a better learning experience for your students.
Jamboard, Flipgrid, and the always growing, always changing list of technology tools available to us cannot create the rigorous, engaging instruction we know is good for students. Educators and their PLCs are the designers of instruction that inspire and engage students, regardless of the model we are in person, blended, or fully online. The art of teaching is the work we do together. The Cognitive Rigor Matrix is now one more way you can provide a learning experience that encourages all students to think beyond recalling facts and basic concepts to questions that promote advanced cognitive thinking, personal connection to learning, and multiple perspectives. It's the strategies we use, and in this example, it's the questions you ask that promote engaging instruction.